something really interesting happens when you start living in alignment with who you are at the soul level. Old fears start showing up. Doubts you haven't thought about in years start resurfacing. You may even feel resistance from people around you. And many people think that means they're doing something wrong. But in reality, alignment is simply revealing the programs that were already running your life. Welcome, welcome, beautiful souls. I'm Dr. Sheri, spiritual psychologist and inner authority expert. And here on Infinite You, we explore how awareness, alignment, authentic decision making, and your inner authority are changing the way that you consciously create and experience your life. So let's dive right in. And if you are interested in this message or resonates with you, go ahead, hit subscribe, hit like, and say something in the comments. Where the heck are you in the world? So let's dive right in. Many people experience their first real taste of alignment in a quiet moment. Maybe you imagine a life that actually feels exciting. Maybe you allow yourself to consider a possibility you've never fully admitted out loud. Maybe you start making a decision that feels empowering, and for a moment, something shifts. You feel lighter, more expansive, more hopeful. It feels like something inside of you is saying, yes, this feels true. But then something else often shows up. Suddenly, your mind starts replaying old beliefs. You can't do that. That's unrealistic. Who do you think you are? And sometimes those voices come from past experiences. Sometimes they come from family. Sometimes they come from cultural expectations about who you're supposed to be. But what is important to understand is this: those reactions were already there. You did not create them. Alignment did not create them. Alignment simply revealed them. Alignment is really, really good at unearthing, opening up, seeing, revealing all of your programming. And one of the things that we know from psychology is that the human mind builds identity through repetition. Experiences become beliefs, beliefs become identity, identity becomes the lens through which you interpret your reality. And when you begin stepping into a new level of alignment, that identity can feel threatened, because if you begin to choose differently, you begin to become someone different. And the mind often will resist that shift at first, not because it's wrong, but because it's unfamiliar. And so many of us are living in that space of safe familiarity. And we all know, we all do that, right? We like patterns. We glom on to what we know to be true day in and day out, right? So this is like normal, typical human behavior and a nervous system response for sure. But there is also a bigger perspective here too. Many of the experiences that we go through in life are definitely not random. They become a part of how we discover who we are, a part of how we recognize what feels aligned at the soul level, at the 5D level, right? I talk about multidimensional mindset often in most of my videos. So 3D is what's happening with you in your conscious mind in physical reality. 4D is your subconscious mind, your beliefs, your identity, your emotions, your programming all live there. And then 5D is your superconscious mind and your soul, your truth, your authenticity. So I know people operationalize dimensionality in a different way, but that's how I'm talking about it here. So part of you recognize what feels aligned for you, for your, at the truth level, at the soul level, at who you really are, who you came here to be, what you came to create, all of that good stuff. Alignment will reveal what is true and what is not true. And one of the mechanisms that human beings were designed with to discover that truth is contrast. Contrast is actually one of the fastest ways that we can discover who we are and what we truly want. Contrast gives us phenomenal, phenomenal clarity. You feel it when something in your life suddenly doesn't seem to fit anymore. You feel it when you imagine a possibility that feels expansive. You feel it when an old belief suddenly feels restrictive or outdated or very obviously not true for you. And that contrast will create awareness for you. And I just made a whole video just a couple of days ago about metacognition. And I think that there's an element here of like really getting super metacognitive about where you are with your level of self-awareness, because that metacognitive, if you're looking through that metacognitive lens, you will begin to see how old programming may be your comfy chair and your soft place to just sort of stay in because it's familiar to you. But then you can begin to recognize, like, yes, this is comfy and familiar, but it's like absolutely not working for me anymore. And you just want to kind of like get out of your comfort zone and look for something new that at a deeper level, contrast is telling you it is much more resonant with who you are at the soul level. So contrast allows you to feel the difference between what is aligned and what isn't. And your metacognition is going to tell you what's your comfort zone and what's stepping out of your comfort zone and how can you move into your new truth. Between what feels true and what feels conditioned for you. And when you begin paying attention to contrast, something fascinating happens. You definitely start seeing those patterns. You definitely start recognizing programs. You start noticing beliefs that were quietly shaping your decisions. Contrast is often the moment when people realize, wait a minute, that belief isn't actually mine. It is not me at the soul level. It is not my truth. Or that reaction is coming from conditioning. And the more connected you are to your inner authority, to your metacognitive processes, the easier it is to recognize that contrast, because at a deeper level, at the level of your soul, you always, always know what feels true. It is vibrational. It is resonant for you. It is a feeling. Now that truth can evolve. What you want can change. Who you're becoming can expand. And when you are tuned into your inner authority, you always, always have a guidepost, something inside you that recognizes when something feels aligned and when something doesn't. Sometimes the discomfort people feel when they begin aligning with themselves is actually a signal. Contrast is how the soul gets our attention. It is the moment when you feel the difference between the life you've been living and the life that might actually be true for you. And that moment of awareness is incredibly powerful, because once you see a program, it loses some of its control. You begin recognizing that belief isn't actually mine. That reaction was learned. That fear was conditioned. And once you see that, you have a choice. You can continue running the old program, or you can begin choosing something more aligned with who you are becoming. And that is where conscious creation really begins. And the thing is about those old programs that bubble up when you're in that alignment mode and that contrast is becoming very clear to you, once you see it, it's really hard to unsee. And that's where clarity and decision making really come in. And so if these ideas resonate with you, I invite you to explore them further. You can join my free newsletter where I share deeper reflections on alignment, awareness, inner authority, conscious creation, all that good stuff, energy, psychology, and all the things that are involved in co-creating your reality. You can join my newsletter. I'll put the link in the description box below. And if you're interested in exploring more of these ideas and putting them into practical use, you can join my Infinite You community. And this is where we go deeper into inner authority, alignment, conscious creation, all that really cool stuff, and how you can choose a new program and live from that aligned space, that authentic space that is so much a part of this really cool new energy and new collective consciousness. And if you are curious about understanding your unique energetic design and decision-making style, definitely click the link for one of my human design sessions. It can be a really powerful way to reconnect with your natural authority. And you will, like I said, find the links below. And if you have enjoyed this conversation, hit like, hit subscribe, and I will see you all next time. But before I do, I want to give you another quote from the poet Rumi. And I don't know why I'm in this Rumi mode right now. I just want to say this to you from Rumi. Yesterday, I was so clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today, I am wise, so I am changing myself. I will see you all next time. Beautiful souls, namaste.